All right. So hopefully y'all saw I've been tweaking like crazy. Uh I can't leave anything alone, okay? So that is my problem. I admit to it for sure. But we have so I've cut down how much time it takes to go through the initial training. And I had some really good coaching calls with some agents that helped me really refine some of the stuff on telesales and final expense. I mean, so I appreciate it. Like Landon, spent some time with Landon on the phone, recorded our coaching session on the final expense sales. So he's getting out there. So I added kind of a telesale version, kind of a very streamlined version of, I mean, it's always been there, but I really modified things and improved it. So now the simple selling system, it's 4 hours and 18 minutes and 54 seconds of material. And there's just only four sections: product and underwriting, booking appointments, the selling system, and getting started. It tells you how much time each section lasts, and then schedule time with Joy to monitor your progress, and then book an appointment with me so we can get you started. So here's what's really cool. So when you go to each little tile, you go to its own section: product training and underwriting, total time 55:26. And it shows how it's split out between product training. So you can go to that, and then the underwriting training. Okay, very simple. And then you go here to go back home, and then booking appointments, click on there. So it's got the in-home appointments with Paige, booking old appointment, booking in-home appointment leads from direct mail leads, listening to live dialing. This is the Zoom call with the Leventovich team. You know, that's knocking out booking appointments. Go back to homepage. Then the selling system is, well, I kind of really enhanced it. So this first section, the sales mindset, is this video right here. And then you can choose. Now you choose one, unless you're going to do both telesales and in-home sales. But typically, yeah, you're going to know pretty much what way you're going to go. So if you go to telesales, the telesale process for final expense leads. And so thank you to Landon, because this is where I really had a chance to really do this justice on simplifying the final expense sale for telesales. And so this is really kind of the 7-step process, but really boiled down in a very efficient way for telesales. And then the PowerPoint that I used from the video. And then there are notes. So when you download it, what you want to do is you want to let's see if we can open PowerPoint for the web. So view um, notes. Okay. So I don't know if you can see that very well. Okay, so you got all the notes. This is sort of all the teaching stuff. So my video, I kind of made this after the facts. This really kind of follows my video. But these are the notes here. But when you're on a telesale with a client, you just, you're up here, up front. So it goes bond rapport, upfront contract, pain finding, transitioning to budget decision process, closing the sale, post sale, and then the call back. Okay. Um, you know what? I'm going to, actually. There you go. I can't leave well enough alone, right? That's just my, um, oh, I don't know if I could save it. Well, anyway, on the video, I have this thing on the follow-up calls. So anyway, that's what I added here. And then I added Rochelle's had asked for the social security number, bank account numbers. This is a great addition to learning the simple telesale mode and then developing bond rapport over the phone. Okay. So if you just did the telesale only, if you're doing telesales, it's an hour 20. And then, but if you do the in-home sales, it's 149.55. And then you add this 717 for the ATM. Okay. And then the last section is the getting started. And these are really some important tracking your activity, using your activity tracking sheet, some important books, how commissions work. That's it. 4 hours, 18 minutes, and 54 seconds. Okay. So we've really trimmed it so that new people can get out the gate quickly. Okay. Now, I included this because if you really wanted to go nerd and go in depth on telesales, you can really go into, we really go into it. Okay. But
That telesales section, it was huge and it took a long time to watch, but it had a ton of information on it.
oh, the telesales section.
Yeah, there was a lot like, oh, and there's more. Oh, and there's more.
Yeah.
Just kept going, but every bit of it was really good,
Yeah.
really helpful.
So thank you for that. Anyway, so trust me, your coaching calls with me help me tweak things, and I can't leave it alone. There's this thing called bloat. Okay. So over time, as I start coaching, when I continue to coach agents, I start adding more stuff to it. Pretty soon, I promise you, this is what will happen over the next like 3, 4, 6 months. I'm going to keep adding stuff to this and it'll go back up to like 6, 7, 8 hours. Okay, I promise you. And then I'll go through the cycle again going, oh my gosh, this is just way too much. And then I start trimming, trimming, trimming. So it's just this problem I have. It's maybe OCD, but I am a little bit anal when it comes to that. So those are some of the things that we're doing that can help you with your process. And again, Landon's getting out the gate, man. He's smoking it, booking appointments and getting no-showed, right? And so I go in there, I talk about double booking. Don't fear double booking appointments. There's different ways to double book. Mark and I actually talked about when you're doing in-home appointments, um, book 2 appointments between 8 and 10. Like if you're going to go out and meet people, book your segment your schedule in 2-hour increments. So 8 to 10, 10 to noon, noon to 2, 2 to 4, 4 to 6, and 6 to 8. Okay. And that is your um, uh, booking times. And then your objective is to book 2 appointments per 2-hour block. So you got to tell the client, sort of like the variation of the cable guy scheduling technique. The cable guys, they'll book you for between 8 and noon. Or, okay, so which is better? Can you be home between 8 and noon or between 1 and 5? And then you go home because you want your cable to work so bad because we're all, you know, um, addicted to our TVs. We got to get that cable installed. And so they have the audacity to know how bad we want it that were willing to be at home for 4 hours waiting for the cable guy to come, right? Well, this is a variation of that model where you book two appointments in for a 2 hour block, and then it gives you the flexibility. Like if one shows up, right, then you do that appointment. And even if you're late to the second one, even if the second one is right at the tail end of the 2 hour period, you still go on that appointment and it's probably going to be a no-show. But check this out. If it isn't a no-show, then you do that appointment. It's called Love the One You're With. Okay. Just like the song. Love the one you're with. Love the one you're with. Do 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 do. Anyway. So you love the one you're with, then you go to your next appointment, you're probably half an hour into the next appointment block, but then you go to that next appointment, it'll be a no-show, okay? Which means you go to the next one and that person shows up, right? And then you spill into, let's say it's a long appointment. So you spill into the next 2 hour block period. You go to that appointment and it's a no-show. You go to the next appointment, it's a no-show. So now you're sort of caught up. In fact, you're a little bit early. So what's to stop you from going to the next appointment half hour early? You know? So you see what I'm saying? So when you have that flexibility and you have that fudge factor, you can do that. So telesales, you probably could do the same thing, maybe. I don't know. I've never heard anyone really doing that in telesales. But the idea though is, you know, double book. Just don't be afraid to double book. Because the show rate for telesales is like, 50% at best. If you tie it down, and you really got to book it within 6 to 12 hours, so you can have a higher, like, so you can be on the upper end of that 50%, like maybe 50% in 6 to 12 hours, right? So don't fear double booking. Like, honestly, gang, it's better for you to no show them than for them to no show you. Okay.
Question on what
Alex,
you just
that's
said.
disrespectful
So
to.
Ask a question, sir, about what you just said. I'm sorry, I'm interrupting you. So you said when you set an appointment, telesales, it needs to be set within 6 to 10 hours. So if I set an evening appointment like at 7 o'clock, I should try to set that for the morning
Yeah.
for the highest show ratio possible.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, I wasn't aware
Telesales
of
is
that.
super high no show rate. So, and if you book it past 12 hours, God bless you, man. Good luck. Good luck. I mean, I don't know of anyone who's like really, I don't know anyone who's done better than 50%. Well, there is someone who does. He's expert at it. His show rate's like 70%, but he's using
Talking about Ryan Reynolds.
Ryan Reynolds. He's the actor. No, I'm talking about Evan Patzer.
No, I mean the Ryan Reynolds that you have in your
Oh,
not the
Ryan.
actor.
Yeah. Yeah, that guy's there's some unicorns, okay? You know, like don't I mean it's okay to compare yourself to unicorns, but don't set expectations like thinking that you suck because you're not getting 70% show rate. Like you should always try to strive for a better show rate. But yeah,
Is there
anyway.
anything special that he's doing, that's helping him increase his show ratio so well?
Well, number one, he's spending about 1,000 to 1,500 a week on leads. So they slam the appointments and they do double book. So they actually hope that people don't show up. So they're really working their numbers. So when you're spending $1,500 on leads and they're paying the leads that they're buying. How many leads is that? Let's see. So yeah, that's an average about 100 leads a week. Like you don't really care. You're just like burning and churning through booking appointments. And then you know, you don't care who shows up because you slammed so many appointments in, it doesn't really matter. But then again, you're spending a 1,500 a week on leads. You're working solid 12, 14 hours a day. doing telesales. And a lot of these guys don't, they'd rather be sitting in their chair for, than going out of their house, running appointments live. And those are the FFL guys that are doing that. So anyway. Okay, so that's some of the stuff on that we've modified, and hopefully that'll work for like our brand new agents that are going through it. So I know I did it right in the middle of you going through it, and all of a sudden you log in, it's like, whoa, everything's different. It's not that different. It's cut down, streamlined, and it looks like this now. So don't freak out. If you've got any problems, check with Joy. She'll make you feel like you're not completely crazy, I hope. All right. So who's got questions? Any questions?
I do. I was start booking some appointments this week, and in the middle, I realized that some of my rebuttals that I used to use, I can't use anymore. Some come to you for new ones. So a rebuttal I used to come and use during Christmas season because I handle union benefits, that the union wanted all their benefits done before the new year, for the brand new year. So, because I was calling union leads. Now I'm not calling union leads anymore. And I was like, I need something to get into to get people to sit down with me for Christmas. It's just such an easy excuse they're giving me. I have the Christmas holiday coming up and blah, 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 blah. So I know you're giving some things before. Just want to kind of write down a couple new ones that we can kind of use to solidify some more appointments here for the Christmas.
Yeah.
For the
So you run into, it's natural to run into that. And so some of the things that I've used in the past to overcome the holidays, DAZE, is I tell them, look, it doesn't take very long. It's not going to take too long. Let's knock this out before all the Christmas hustle and bustle gets crazy, because you know how it can get crazy. And you're doing this, 3-4 weeks before Christmas, because right now we're like on top of it. But even now, when you encounter, it's like, hey, this is not going to take very long. We're talking about 15-20 minutes. I'll show you your options. We can get you signed up real quick. And you know what? Here's good news. Good news is we're only going to see if you qualify. And at that point, we'll know if you qualify or not after Christmas is done. Okay, so we're just going to send it in, see if you qualify. Not a big deal. It's not going to take very long. And here's the good news. Good news is, should you die during the underwriting process, you're conditionally covered. So your family will still get the benefits. Okay. So, how soon can we get on your calendar and just try to book it? And then use other things like, would this be a great Christmas gift for your family to know that you've got them covered when you die, that you've got them taken care of. So that's another angle is, what a great Christmas gift. Another one is, look, you and I know that, life insurance is for people that you love, right? And, obviously you love your family. Otherwise you wouldn't have answered the online ad for phone expense insurance. So because you love your family, Christmas is all about loving your family, right? So while we knock this out, won't take very long. I'm going to ask you some health questions. We're going to, put this on electronic application, and then we'll find out whether or not you get qualified. And you're not even going to have to really start this up until you're conditionally covered, but you don't have to really kind of start everything up until January anyway. So I use that where, we can start this up in January, but we need to see if you qualify now so we can get it started in January. So you can kind of use those kind of words to get them motivated, but it's all about urgency. And then, look, this is why we double the activity level during the holidays to equal what we typically do during non-holidays, because, we encounter this. So you got to double down on your activity level, gang. That's the reality of it. Get more leads. Plus, man, we got a massive lead sale. I don't know if I think Ginny has sent out all these leads that are available, old leads. that are discounted in a huge way that you can take advantage of. And the direct mail leads have a shelf life. Trust me, they have a shelf life. So don't be afraid. All
All
right.
right.
So
So the
those are just some of
return,
the
you
things.
said focus on that doesn't take long, and let's just see if we can get you qualified. The policy won't even go in effect to next year, so it won't
Right.
take long. Just want to see if we can get you qualified. Got you. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Yeah. Welcome.
I'm just new, and so I'm a little confused. When you're doing that, are you actually running the policy right then and there with them, and
If
then
I
send
can,
and
if I
tweak it?
can,
Okay.
yeah, if I can, I'll say, hey, we got some time now. Do you have some time now?
Hmm.
And then go for it.
Okay.
If not, they say, no, I'm in, typically we're catching them in the supermarket. That's what I find a lot of times, or they're on their way to the doctor's appointment. And it's like, oh, okay, when will you be back? Will you be, and I look at my watch, I look at my watch actually and say, so like it's 9 a.m. now. Do you think you'll be back by noon? Yeah, I'll be back by noon. Okay, great. Why do this? I'll give you a call at noon and then we can knock this out and, get it done and make sure we get, give you some options and see if we can help you out. Yeah, that sounds good. Okay. And so that's what I do. Again, try to kick the can down the road, but only a few hours. Okay. With telesales, you got to compress things, man. Within home sales, you can get away with the standard 24, 48 hours, right? Keeping it within that block of time when you book your appointments. And you still get no-shows, but if you tie it down properly within home appointments, booking between 24, 48 hours, you should have a 70, 75% show rate if you're really good at booking appointments and tying it down, right?
Okay. And I totally misspoke because even in the house. Like, are you still closing? Like, are you still putting the application through in the
Yeah.
house?
Yeah, in the home, it's one night close, baby.
Okay.
Yeah.
I
One
just,
night.
yeah, I couldn't connect it fully. So thank you for explaining that.
Yeah, when you book the appointment, then you go on the appointment and then
Mhm.
you do the whole 7-step submarine process with them, and it's designed to close them right then and there.
And checking back in 2 days is just to make sure that they're okay with their
See if they
premium.
have any questions. And
Okay.
that's where you try to catch buyer's remorse.
Okay.
Yeah. You've been watching my videos.
I'm watching everything to the point where my brain is on fire and it needs to be turned off.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
get it.
you're pulling a me right now. Don't overwhelm yourself. You got to keep it simple. And I
Yeah,
would highly recommend using the ATM. That is so helpful to fall back on during an appointment.
yeah, that's the ATM's really designed to be a crutch because back in the day when we didn't have it, I did the Sandler sales process. I had a little 3x5 card and I had all the steps, bond rapport, upfront contract, pain finding, budget, decision, fulfillment, post sell. And I would just have that 3x5 card in front of me. I knew I know it by heart, but I had it in front of me because I wanted to keep myself on track, right? And then someone said, we need to have a flip chart. Let's go old school. It's like, okay. So at the Alliance, they got some of us together, and I was not going to give up my 7-step sales process. So I had a hand in crafting the ATM, and you'll notice that, well, I don't know if you'll notice, but there's I've got fingerprints all over it. Although, some people have messed with it. I still, you know, maintain our process with the ATM. And so the ATM is a good thing to help coach everybody. Everyone kind of has a standard way of walking someone through an appointment. Again, the in-home appointment is different than telesales. In-home appointment, you can close. You'll average 55% close rate once you get decent at it. And if you get to be really good at it, you'll close 75%. Guaranteed, you'll close 75% of your in-home appointments. Telesales, starting out, you'd be lucky to get a 20% close rate, right? You can get it up towards, 40%. You can double that if you're constantly following up because it's going to be a follow-up. You're going to get the, well, I got to talk to my wife, or you're going to get a lot of that, and you can't be rattled. You have to tell them, okay, great. Let me call you back. I'll call you back in a couple days, and then let's just catch up. You have to follow up. You have to follow up. You have to follow up. So telesales, everyone thinks it's easier because you don't have to go out of your house. It's harder because you don't have to go out of your house, and you have such a disadvantage because it's harder to do bond and rapport. Harder, harder, harder. And the place and persistency rates are a lot higher unless you follow up, meaning you're calling them 5 or 6 times even after you make the sale. You got to follow up. And then you make the initial contact and you haven't closed, you got to be prepared to call them 3, 4, 5 times over the next week or 2 weeks to finally close it. I mean, that's just the reality of telesales. Okay. Now, if you suddenly figure out how to close it on the first time, okay, trust me, let's wait a few weeks or a couple months and let's see your placement persistency. And then when it starts going south and you start getting chargebacks out the wazoo, a lot of times it's too late. You're so underwater that it's going to be hard a lot of times that'll kill someone. I mean, you'll leave the business, right? So trust me, the follow-up is the most important part of the grind of telesales. Okay, so it's harder. I should say it's harder to learn because it takes way more skill. The skilled people can do it, knock it out, and just kill it. But if you ask them how long did it take you to get good at it, real good, where your place and persisting rates were good, they'll tell you a story. Okay. So, and sometimes it ebbs and flows, right? You'll get hit with chargeback after chargeback, and you're going, golly, man, my place of persistency was pretty good. Now it's going to hell. Well, that's telesales. But when you're doing in-home sales, everything's fairly stable because that personal relationship trumps a lot of things on telesales. It's much more solid. Okay. So your closing rates are going to be higher. Your place and persistency rates are going to tend to be higher, but it could go south. You just have to do the right thing in the home. All the things that we teach on the post sale, right? That's why we're fanatical about teaching the post sale process when it comes to the in-home appointment, right?
Okay.
So I'm not trying to intimidate you. I'm just trying to tell you reality. The worst thing I could do is blow smoke up your skirt and make you think, oh, telesales so easy, No. Okay.
No, I'd rather have reality any day of the week.
Good.
That's for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, Mark.
So like when you're, I like when, that part of the process where it's like, hey, this is not a decision moment. And so once you get and you're starting to do the application, you ask for their bank account. What is the comeback then that you've used? Well, when they come back and say, well, why am I giving you my bank account and doing this application?
Well, there's a number of things. Okay. Number one, if you're talking in-home appointment,
Yeah.
I never get that in an in-home appointment. Like I've never gotten, I can't think. Maybe it's happened to me. Honestly, dude, in my years when I was in the field, I was in the field maybe, 4 or 5 years, and I was one of the top agents in the alliance, number 4 or 5 typically every year. I never got that because I never made it a big deal. Because it's part of the application, because we're filling out the application and it's part of the application process. Now, Rochelle has a really good, the video on how she asked for a social security number. She ties it to the death benefit, but I think we tend to get that more on telesales, like way more on telesales, but in home appointments, gosh, I can't remember really getting that part at all. So the question is, what if you did get someone who didn't want to give up? But see, you got to understand okay, you're thinking about it as a cold question in the middle, like in an appointment, but that question doesn't come up until you've done bond report, pain finding, right? Upfront contract, pain finding, the budget and decision. You've got like four, no, those five steps before you even get there. And if you mess up on any of those five steps, chances are you've probably ejected the client already. Like if they don't have pain, like if the bond report's off, like trust me, there's a reason why we do this process. If the bond report's off, you call a timeout and go, golly, Joe and Mary, can I call a timeout, please? And they go, yeah, I guess. Listen, okay, you do the softening statement. I get the feeling, I love this. This is pure Sandler right here. I get the feeling like I must have said something or done something to make you guys like feel very uncomfortable with me. I'm getting the feeling like I might have said something. What did I say to make you guys feel really uncomfortable with me? I'm just, is it my race? Is it the fact that I'm Asian? What is it exactly? Because I'm getting a feeling that maybe there's just something not right here. And if they don't give you a good answer, then it's probably racial. Or if they don't give you a good answer, it's probably something. It's like, golly, look, if I'm not the right person to help you, just let me know. Am I not the right person to help you? You haven't shown one premium rate yet. But if you get the wrong vibes on the bond report, it's like, hey, listen, maybe another night would be best, or maybe another agent can help you. I don't think that I'm probably the right person here. I'm getting up and leaving. I'm not going to show them rates. They're going to say, well, no, we want to know how much this is going to cost. It's like, man, I don't think this is going to be really good fit. Because I'm just not getting a really good feeling like you guys really like me at all. I feel like there's something here. And is there something here? Okay, and that puts it on them to beg you to stay because, no, I'm sorry, we just had bad news. We heard some bad news. Or they'll explain why it's funky between us. But if it's not, they can't explain it. I am leaving. I don't even get to that part about bank account because I don't feel comfortable with this appointment the way it's going. Okay. So bond report, upfront contract. Now you got to the upfront contract. So let me tell you, what's going to happen. I'm going to ask you some questions, and then, I want you to know that you're in total control. Okay. You can tell me to leave if this doesn't work for you, if the price is too high, or if we can't find you something, then I'll leave. But I need for you to tell me, tell me no. You got to feel comfortable that, you can tell me no. You don't have to do the think about it thing. Just tell me no, it's not going to work. No, we don't like you. We don't like the rates. We don't, are you cool with that? You're in total control here. Are you good with that? Because my job here is to take care of you. Well, my wife and I, we didn't really want to make a decision. We don't really, we like to sleep on it. And are you saying that we have to make a decision here? All I'm saying is that you can tell me to leave if I can't find something. But if I find something that'll work for you, that'll fit your needs and fit your budget that you can afford, then yeah, I'm here to see if you qualify. We're going to put an application through to see if you qualify. That's all we're going to do tonight. No, we don't really want to do that. Are we going to have to give you our bank account? Well, that's part of the process. I mean, the insurance carriers need your bank account number. They need your social security number to verify you are who you are. And during this process, if you die, they're going to pay the death benefit. So number one, they're not going to pay a death benefit during the underwriting process if they can't verify you are who you are through your social security number. And we need your bank account number to show that this is a contract, right? This is a contract. So part of your commitment to a contract is your bank account number. Now it's fully refundable. Your first month premium is fully refundable. If you don't like the policy, if you don't want the policy, and especially if you get declined, okay, if you get declined by the carrier, they're going to give you your money back anyway. So, but you're going to be covered as soon as I leave. No, we don't like that process. That's just blah, 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 blah. Okay. Well, I guess, it's probably not going to work out. Then I'm gone. See, they don't deserve to be my client because they don't want to follow my process. They don't want to follow my process. Then, because remember, in the video, it's either our process or theirs. Their process is the think about it process. So if you're stupid enough to stay there, then you're going to get the, well, looks real good, Alex. I like the price, but we're going to be talking to some other people. We have 5 other appointments set up, next week.
So true. They just
Like,
use you for
you know what?
information.
I'm sorry.
I said, that's so true. They just use you for information. They just waste an hour of your time. They're never going to buy. They got a bunch of information on you and they just send you on your way. It's so true what you're saying.
So I'm not going to give them any premium rates because then I become a beggar. I become like every other features benefits salesperson out there. Remember, the Sandler system is, do they qualify to be my client? If they don't qualify to be my client, eject them from the process, right? And trust me, here's the thing. It's an attitude thing. When you go in there with that attitude, you're going to close a ton. People think, well, Alex, I'm not going to hardly close anybody then. No, because you have that attitude, you're going to close a ton of people. Okay. It's
I have
just
a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
So Alex, okay, so if they don't trust me to gather the information to complete the application, can I call the 1-800 number and to show them that, hey, you could give it to them over the phone to complete the application?
I'm sorry.
Like, say if I want to do an e-app with Forrester's Financial, and I'm completing the application, but they don't want to give me their bank information to proceed. Can I call the 1-800 number or the sales help desk to finish the application?
No.
Okay.
No. Plus, look, if they don't trust you, they don't trust you. So chances are they're not going to probably keep their policy. And, whatever you told them, they're not going to believe you anyway. Like, we're building, remember, it's kind of like, do you want to build your business on sand or you want to build on a solid foundation? Solid foundation is based on a relationship, a trust relationship, like any relationship, like a marriage relationship. It's based on trust. If the client doesn't trust you for whatever reason, either you're not trustworthy or you suck at bond and rapport or all kinds of reasons, or the client just is a distrustful person, I am not going to move forward. I am not going to put myself in a position to lose because I promise you, you're going to get buried with chargebacks where it will drive you out of the business. And then you're going to leave me with a bunch of your chargebacks. All this debt will roll up to me and then I got to pay for it, right? And I'm not happy about paying for your debt that you leave me. And by the way, that's stealing. Okay, that's one of the commandments, thou shalt not steal. That's what cracks me up about agents. Okay, I know I'm going off here, but I want to make a point. When agents leave me with debt, they just stole from me and my family, right? They run away from their chargebacks. They make me pay for it, right? Oh, Alex is rich. He can pay for all that. No, you just you just went into my house. You took my wallet, you opened it up and you pulled, $500 out that I could have used to feed my family. That's what you did. So why do you think I'm trying to get you not to run into those situations where you're going to get killed with chargebacks? Our process with the Sandler system with the submarine is designed for you to have solid clients that you care about and that will care about you, that you have this trusting relationship that's rock solid. And this is why we do ERS with the clients that make it through our filter. Can you imagine taking it through our 7-step process, and they love you, you love them, man, their referrals are going to be so powerful, and all those will stay on the books. And those aren't leads, those are referrals. When you call them up, they're waiting for your call. They want you to come over. They want you to take care of them because you just took care of their friend. And those are going to stay on the books. And the bond rapport with those are easy, right? You know, leads are hard, referrals are easy. You want to get through the hard part to get the sale so you can get the ERS, which is the easy. Those are the easy sales. If you want to hit the easy button in insurance sales, do the ERS program. In fact, Gabe, you got 5 right on your first sale. Gabe made his first sale, an IUL of all things. You know, and that's that. Now you're talking about kind of complex, more complex sales. And he did an IUL and he got 5 ERSs. Like some of y'all are listening, right? You're listening, and I appreciate that so much. But so to go back to Mark's question, right? So you got through the upfront contract, now it's pain finding. And you're going through the pain finding process, and you find out that, well, yeah, we've got, 2 million in the bank. We've got another 5 million here. And then we've got a house that, when you're finding about their assets, or it's like, and then we have 3 policies worth probably about 1.5 million. Now, a lot of you are probably going to go, oh, that's great. And then you're going to move on and you're going to try to close them because they got the money, right? You know what I do? I go, I'm confused. So you do the I'm confused. Man, I'm confused. Why did you fill out that online form for final expense if you've got, a ton of assets that you could afford a $50,000 funeral without any life insurance at all? And you've already got 2 million in life insurance. I'm really kind of confused. Tell me what motivated you to want to fill this out? Do you see how different that question is than some of you would have? Well, some of you would just gloss over it because you're thinking, oh, I got this because this person can afford it, right? Maybe you're going to sell them a, 2,000 a month IUL, which actually I would probably go there. But the point is, you would just gloss over the pain finding. I want to know if they have pain. I've walked away from clients because they just did not have the pain. In fact, they couldn't justify to me why they really needed this. And I walked away, I go, you know what? I don't think you really need this. Do you really need this? Well, when you say it like that, yeah, we're pretty much, we don't need it. I go, yeah, thank you. Okay, I'm glad you said it because I've been saying it and I'm glad you agree with me. Then I'd go for, other things like estate planning. Wow, you got quite a few assets. How do you know that you're maximizing your tax breaks? Do you know that? I'd go tax strategy. Now, you guys don't know how to do that yet. I'd go there and I'd be making some money on that stuff if I found someone with assets. There's a lot of places to go with that. But I'm not selling them life insurance. Does that make sense? Do you see how different conversation that is? So they have no pain. I'm out of there. We haven't even got to the bank account information, right? Yeah, if they got pain, it's like, I don't know how my son is going to afford, afford it right now because he's still just trying to get his life together. $25,000 to pay for a funeral. It's not going to be really. Yeah, I don't want that. I definitely don't want that to happen. Okay. So you really, you're looking at 25,000, huh? So you've really quizzed the client so they got pain. Now we go through budget, the decision process. Look, let me tell you what's going to happen now. I'm going to ask you questions related to your health so I can center in on the right product that's going to work for you based on your health. And the premiums are based on your health and age, right? And all we're going to do is put together some options for you, 3 options, and then you're going to tell me which one that you can afford. Okay. And then we're going to send it in to the insurance carrier to make sure that you're covered. It's really a binding contract. So the good news is, should you die, we'll be able to, you know, um, put the death benefit through for your beneficiaries during this process. It's called conditional coverage. So when you pay the first month premium, you know, um, that's refundable, then you're conditionally covered. And then what the insurance company is going to do is they're going to think about you. Okay, so they're going to look at all the information you've sent in, and they're going to determine whether or not you qualify. And so tonight's not to think about at night, because honestly, Joe, there's nothing to think about because you don't even know if you qualify for this. All we're going to do is figure out if you qualify. Okay, so I'm going to ask you a number of questions on your health. I'm going to, then we're going to show you some options. You're going to pick an option. We're going to fill out the request for coverage form electronically. It's an electronic application. It's going to ask a bunch of questions on there, and then we're going to send it in. Are you okay with that? Does that sound good to you? Blah, blah, blah. And I really compress that. Okay. Learn it from my video. But, and if they say, yeah, okay. Yeah, that sounds good. Okay, cool. And then I go in with the rest of the process. Now, look, you've already been through bond rapport. You've been through upfront contract. You've been through pain finding. You did the budget step and you did the decision step. By the time you got through 5, this is why I really never get pushback on the bank account information or Social Security. I really don't, because I've created trust with them, so much trust. We've laughed, we've cried, like in the pain finding. Sometimes I get them to cry, and that rocks when you get them emotional. And it's just when you can ask questions the right way. Get them to cry. Talk about locking the sale on the pain finding. You lock it down when you get them emotional about the people that they love. Some people might think that that's a emotional manipulation. It really isn't. You can think of it that way if you want, but I've never thought of it that way. But I can ask questions, trust me, and I can get them into the mode. But that, sometimes people are really good at this process, Sandler. Man, they sometimes have an ego about getting people to cry. They kind of have this thing, and especially if they're using NLP, neuro linguistic programming, they kind of get a little ego driven. We don't want you to go that far. Okay, where it's your ego to get them to cry and get them emotional, and it feeds your ego. We're not about that. Okay. That's how good you can get with this stuff, but we're not about that.
Simple
So
question.
does that answer your question, Mark? I'm still answering Mark's question.
Yeah,
So
that was perfect. I think what resonated the most with me, just from my past, is just the simpleness of is being so nonchalant about this is just part of the process. It's conditional, and just making it so nonchalant. And that's I just wanted to hear that. That's what resonated. That's what I was looking for right there.
That's real key. In fact, it's the same way you have to be with the ERS during the EAP. So after you go to the beneficiary, okay, so now contingent beneficiaries, probably your children, okay, their names, blah, blah, blah. Okay. And so 3 kids, so 33%. Okay, cool. We'll just give who's your favorite? We'll put them at 34 and then the other at 33. Is that cool? Okay. Okay. Now the next part of the process is the emergency contact list. Now there's 7.5 billion. There's 7.5 billion of unpaid death benefit out there. Do you know why that is? No, I don't know why that is. Yeah, because the insurance carrier didn't know that the person died. So the insurance companies need us to put together your emergency contact list, just like when your kids were going to school, they had to fill out an emergency contact card. So the same thing here. Who would be the top 20 people that that could call us when you died so we can get death benefits started? We prefer local. So, local to me. So I know, or, local to you. So they'll know that you died. And usually 1 out of 10 will call us 20, 30 years from now, blah, blah, blah. Right. It's all part of it. Okay. Social Security number. Actually, the Social Security number is up front. Birth date. Okay. Social Security number. And I'm doing this because I'm in home. I'm like, my head's down and I'm just writing it down. you know, it's not a big deal. It's like, okay, Joe, I know that most people don't like to give social security numbers because of ID theft and, and all this stuff.
You're creating a
I'm
common
going to
resume.
ask you a social security number, and you can trust me because I'm trustworthy and I will never, the insurance company, they apply, they subscribe to HIPAA standards, and you put more fear in them when you start talking about all that stuff. Then, okay, social security number, and your head's down and you're writing, right? I
So
know I'm
I
overly
think the key
dramatic.
point that you're giving, Alex, is that you make it like I do this all day. I talk to people all day. I give their socials all day, so it's no big deal. Or sometimes if people ask that question, when I was training people, the voice would go up. So Alex, what's your social?
Yeah.
So like my voice goes up. So I'm asking you a question of Alex, what's your social? And I'm looking down.
Yeah,
So
it's a
make sure you guys'
statement.
voice doesn't go up. Say it as a matter of fact, voice down.
Yeah.
Uh, banking information. You want the 28th? Great. All right. Your
Yeah.
social? Great. All right.
Yep.
So
Exactly.
voice tone do not go up. Key point.
Yep. Absolutely. All right. Christy had a question.
You go over the leaderboards every week and you show two different sets of leaderboards, and I just want to know what the difference is. I don't even know what they are because like you're talking about them so fast that they're clearly two completely different things, and like number 10 on one leaderboard is completely different than number 10 on the other
Yeah,
leaderboard.
that is actually a very, 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 very fair question. So, yeah, uh, uh, I am. I do kind of speed through it. So sometimes I spend more time explaining it than other times. But so the first leaderboard I show is the weekly submitted leaderboard for my base shop only. Okay, so I have 250 to 300 agents that write business every month, right? My base shop is only a a small portion of that number, maybe 30 agents, and then actively every week, maybe uh, 12 to 20 write business every week. And so we track submitted premium, which goes from Friday morning to Thursday evening. And that's the submitted week that we track leaderboards. So when you do your activity reports and your production reports, when you log that in on the Google Sheet, that's how we put together those weekly submitted premiums. Okay. The second leaderboard is the issue paid month to date. Okay, so when you submit, let's say you submit 5 applications in a week, you probably get 3 to 4 issued. And so that leaderboard is what actually got issued and paid, meaning you made commissions on it. And it's tracked. Usually there's a 7-day lag, obviously, because when you submit, it takes a little bit of time to get them issued. Not all of them get issued, but we keep track of how much production gets issued paid month to date every week. So it's that leaderboard's my entire hierarchy. It's everybody in my organization, the 200 to 300 agents. At the end of the month, that's about approximately how many unique writing agents we'll have. And so that's my entire organization. Okay. So it's not just my group, base shop group, and it's issue paid. So we track every week. That's why one week it might be, 125,000 total. The next week it's, 300,000. The next week it's, 500,000. The next week's it's 700,000. So you can see it cumulative week after week as it grows in production. And then same with the number with the issue paid for each agent, you see what they accumulate every week as far as issue paid. So when you see the number, you just multiply it by, maybe they're at 85, maybe they're at a 75% contract, 100% contract, like Megan's at 120. So when you see Megan Wood, she's like 100 and at the end of the month, it's usually 110,000 or 100,000 issue paid premium. You multiply that by, 120,000, 20%, and then divide it, and then multiply that by 75% advance. And that's probably how much approximately she made in commissions. Now that's a little bit overstating because some of those are Medicare, so is hospital indemnity, so some of those premiums aren't paid the same way. But if you just want to get an idea, but the real point of all that is our business is working. Like, you should be excited that there are people on a leaderboard, number one. Number two, that business is actually getting you paid. So you should get excited that people are getting paid commissions based on what gets issued on the leaderboard.
Oh,
So
for
this
sure.
isn't like fake stuff. This is really what is going on so that you can believe that if other people can do it, I can do it too. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I just didn't understand the smaller group. That's the part, I guess, that confused me. So,
Yeah. Okay. So
all right.
what breaks out from my base shop are people that go agency manager and above, right? So everyone in my base shop are not agency managers yet. Okay. And
Mhm.
typically agency managers, especially with their higher level, like even if someone does become agency manager, they'll probably stay in my base shop anyway. But most of my big managers have broken away from my base shop. So, can I manage, 300 agents? Imagine me doing, 15-minute coaching calls and I'd be working 7 days a week, right? No, I have managers that handle their group. So we've got other teams that are doing what I'm doing with their teams in my hierarchy. Okay.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yes, totally.
Okay. It's kind of like you got president of the company, they've got, 5 vice presidents, and underneath those 5 vice presidents, they have, 5 department managers underneath them. And those 5 department managers handle, their group of 30 employees. So that's kind of how it works. Alex, that looks like a pyramid. No, it looks like an org chart. Anyway, anybody else? Wow, it's 9:30 already. This was a really good one, man. The Thursday before Christmas and all through the house. Not it. All the agents were stirring with all kinds of questions.
I actually had something I wanted to mention about ERS is how I felt about them.
Yeah,
I also feel like ERSs help lock in policies just because they're referring friends and family
it does.
to they're pretty much telling, oh, you should go help them out too. And they're not going to send you to go help somebody out unless they believe that they were truly helped that day too. So,
Yeah.
and it's also holding them to their policy because they're like, well, I can't just send them off to go help them out, and I'm not keeping my word on this policy.
Yeah. So true, man. This is the most powerful thing that we can do is ERS. And some of you are starting to understand it and taking advantage of it. It's a huge thing, man. I tell you, it is. I really have waited too long to really create an expectation for everyone to do ERS. Once we do, man, y'all are going to be so freaking profitable. You're not going to be worried about investing in leads because you're not going to need leads anymore. Wouldn't that be cool? And every phone call is easy. It's not like pulling teeth. Oh my gosh. So can you imagine a warm referral that you're applying our 7-step submarine process to, and every step just kind of clicks along like clockwork, and it's easy. And there's no pulling teeth to get a bank account number. And then you do ERS on them. Oh my gosh, it's so cool. We have such an awesome system. If you just take hold of it and then just run with it, gang.
And
anyway, cool.
there was also that I wanted to add and stress about the submarine system is you need them all in order for a policy to work.
Yep.
Because that this wasn't my actual first policy that I wrote up. This is my second one that I wrote up. Problem is with the first one, there wasn't enough pain there. It was just the bond and rapport was good enough to get me to brute force through the application. But the pain wasn't there when the policy was ready to be issued.
Yeah.
So I had to cancel it the first day.
Yep.
So I'm never going to stay at a client's house whenever there's not enough pain ever again because that was a 3-hour appointment.
Oh my gosh.
That
See,
ended up in a chargeback. So,
that's the reason why we do this. So you don't spend 3 hours. You get through and there's no pain. You're out of there in, maybe 20 minutes instead of spending 3 hours with someone. So
well, also what takes 3 hours is if you don't know how to do the applications efficiently. So I'd also recommend to the new people to really learn how to do these applications.
yeah.
And to prevent objections, you let them know what you're going to be asking them for the application before you even pull it up.
Yep.
I always tell them we're going to be asking questions about your health. I need your name, your address, your social. This is an application and it's required that we have a bank account number associated with this application before I send it in. Otherwise, they will not even look at this application. That doesn't mean you're going to get charged for this. And this isn't the time to think about it.
Also would suggest for new people, if you think you have a situation you don't have enough pain, write down the situation and bring it to Alex, because it may be you may need more training on how to discover that pain. So like, okay, I
Yeah.
felt there was no pain. There was a husband and wife and they had a kid that was this old, and this how much coverage they had, and try to have that scenario together and bring it to Alex, so that way you can give it to him, so that way he can help show you how to generate more pain. Whether it's, hey, you just got a husband and wife, they got no kids, but if the husband dies, his wife loses his income, how's she going to survive 4, 5, 6 years without his income? So there
Yeah.
may be other avenues that you guys can need to learn. So, I definitely write that down and bring it to
Very
Alex.
true. Very
Yep.
true. Thanks for that.
Okay.
It's all in how you ask questions. You got to ask, to do pain finding properly, you got to be willing to ask 10 questions to drill down to the emotional reason why they need it.
Well, Alex, you actually gave me a good recommendation for a lot of the same objection I get for a lot of people that I meet. And it's that, oh, my son and daughter, they make plenty of money to cover my funeral when I pass away. I get that time and time again. And you should see my face when they tell me that. I just feel like my eyes roll to the back of my head. I'm like, oh, brother, here we go again.
Okay, so just so I understand, so what you're telling me is that you just want to leave the burden of your funeral onto your kids and to pay for. That's what you want to do, just so I understand. Sometimes I just take it back and put it on them what they're actually saying. Well, no, that's not what I'm saying. Okay, I'm just curious, because when you die within 48 hours, the family's gonna have to come up with $15,000. So if you're saying you don't want to take care of that burden, that means your son and daughter are gonna have to come up with $15,000 in 48 hours. That's what you want to do? No? Okay, well, here, let me give you some options where we can take care of that for you. We're gonna have to leave that immediate burden to them. That makes sense? Okay, great.
Well, I
Yeah.
got to work on the delivery like you do, because they'll stonewall Jackson me for whenever I try to say something like that. They'll smile at me and tell me, "Oh no, they'll be fine."
Well, it's people say stuff, they try to fake you out and they try to fake themselves out. And so when you restate it, and it's like, so here's what I hear you telling me, because that's a softening statement. So here's what I'm hearing you say, that your children, like you mentioned, David is your son that's going to take care of everything. So David has $25,000 to pay for your funeral, like just lying around. He's got 25,000. Well, they'll backtrack. So when you restate what you're hearing, when you phrase it in a way, they either backtrack or if they hold tight to it, and go, yeah, you know how much money he makes? He's a doctor. He makes, $500,000 a year. He's got plenty of money. Okay, cool. That's awesome. Hey, listen, does he know that? Why don't we give him a call? Just so I
Like that.
know that he
He
knows that he's on the hook for 25,000.
I'm loving it. I'm loving it.
Look,
Whoa, hold on.
I know.
Because people are full of crap, man. They're full of crap. You have to nicely. What he's doing is he's nicely telling him that he's full of crap without telling him that he's full of crap.
Well, I know. I know. Yeah, it's okay. So this is where, okay, look, gang, you're not trying to be sarcastic, but you are trying to make a point. And my point is, you're not going to pull that on me. I'm going to call it out, but in a nice way, right? It's like the guy who says, well, my wife will just marry someone else to take care of her anyway. I go, wow, that's pretty generous of you. Why don't we let her decide who that person's going to be before you die, so she knows who's going to take care of her after you're gone? Is that
Man,
okay?
I'm gonna practice this in the mirror. This is I'm gonna love using this. I'm gonna love it
You know,
because
and
the
you know,
amount of
look,
time I've wasted.
you don't lose what you never had. People think, oh, I'm going to lose the sale. It's like, dude, you lost a sale when that guy opened his mouth and he proved that he didn't care about his family, right?
Never
You
had it
know,
to
and
begin with.
sometimes
Mhm.
people just say that to say it, but I want them to know that I'm hearing what they're saying, and I'll laugh, you know, and I'll see if they laugh. A lot of times when that happens, though, the wife is looking at me like, sorry for my stupid husband.
Facts.
And she's like, with sad eyes going, she's like
I'm so
shaking her
screwed.
head and she's looking at me. And, you know, hero here, you know, is, you know, and they'll probably get divorced in like next year, they'll probably get divorced anyway. So, you know, I'm not a marriage counselor, okay, but I've seen it enough, man. And sometimes you just want to go over there and shake the guy going, dude, do you understand what you're doing here? You know, and some of them just, you know, because some of it is not really good bond and rapport because, you know, they're treating me like a sales guy, right? Like they have the defenses up and they'll say something stupid, you know, because they think they're so smart, and a lot of it is ego. Like, you know, they're not going to let some sales guy sell them on me on anything. You know, so I'll just ask, I'm kind. I try to be kind, but I'll say stuff that's very cutting that because I'm kind, I'll slide it right in there, man. And they have no clue that I just totally insulted them until I've left
You
and they
think
think
about
about what I
it.
just said. It's like, "Shh, that dude just really dissed me." Anyway. Okay, gang, we're done, man. God bless everybody. Have an awesome Christmas, man. Spend time with your family. You know, Jesus is the reason for the season, man. So God bless everybody. And man, let's go sing some Christmas carols.
Merry Christmas.
Everybody have a great day.
Merry Christmas,
Bless.
everybody. God bless.
Merry Christmas, everybody.